You may be wondering if I dress like a priest all the time, even when I'm at home during this stay-at-home order. And the answer is yes. These clothes show that I'm 100% in, that I am not slacking off, that I'm working 100%. I am always a priest, and so I'm proud to be dressed like a priest, even when I'm not around people other than other priests. I was out earlier taking a walk. I walked through Miller Park and through some of the surrounding areas, took about a 3 mile walk. And one thing that I noticed is that there seems to be this almost implicit desire for other people to reach out. Of course, I stayed 6 feet away from everyone and they stayed away from me. But I think in this time, maybe we've drawn out of ourselves, or the Lord has used this difficult time to draw out of us a desire to be with other people. And so I just noticed that maybe in really subtle ways with other people. I definitely notice it in myself. And so with that in mind, I want to show you a few things. Making these videos, what do I have? Well, I have the things around my house. And so I want to show a few reminders that I keep around of my communion with other people. I want to start with the San Damiano cross. The San Damiano cross was the cross which spoke to St. Francis of Assisi as he was there in the Portiuncolo. Jesus spoke from this cross saying, "Francis, repair my church." And so this is a great reminder of me because St. Francis is my patron saint. I'm also in a Franciscan parish, a parish which was run by the Franciscans for a long time, St. Mary's. It's a reminder that in this time, during Lent, and in this time, especially the coronavirus, as we were reminded yesterday in the gospel, that Jesus has two great commandments for us from the Old Testament. Those commandments are a commandment of vertical love. So as we see this vertical part of the cross, which is complete and total love of God, loving God with all of our heart, our mind, and our strength. And then that horizontal love, that love of reaching out to other people, of loving others as ourselves, which is so important, maybe because you're alone and reaching out to others, or because you're stuck in your house with people who you love, but maybe are hard to love. Not saying, just saying. So that's that. I also have this beautiful icon of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which was given to us when I was a seminarian by our bishop, and you can see it's gilded and all those things. And I love Our Lady of Guadalupe, her message to Juan Diego, which was, "No soy tu madre quien estoy aquí." Am I not your mother who am here? You are in the crossing of my arms, in the fold of my mantle. And so it's a beautiful message of Our Lady. I look at that when I make my Marian consecration, or sometimes when I pray the rosary. Here's something that I got from a family, from the Parkins family, before I left Monmouth. Just a good reminder, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. I don't know where they got that quote, but it's really smart. Somebody should write that down. And then when I left Monmouth also, I got this. We started a young adults group, young adults loosely speaking, but anyway, we started a young adults group called Connect. And so they made this for me. It's a really beautiful reminder, once again, of that connection that we're called to have with other people, and with those very real connections. We did some really awesome stuff. We built a wheelchair ramp together. I use the word "we" loosely also. We had a lot of prayer time. One of my favorite talks, I did it on St. Joseph and also on our temperament. And so the talk was entitled "St. Joseph and the Amazing Temperament of Your Gene Code." So if you can't tell, I like puns. Going way back, this is a statue of the Holy Family that I got from my friend Kevin and his wife Mary Kate Low-Sleven. I haven't seen them in a while. I'm going to probably try to connect with them and send this to them. This was right after I was ordained. I gave them an image of the Holy Family when they got married. And so this is just a great reminder to me. I love the Holy Family. It's one of my devotions. I wrote my master's thesis on the family. So if you ever want to read 70 pages, I mean, hey, coronavirus brings all kinds of good things. I think I know who I got this from, but I don't want to say. This is once again St. Francis. And as you can see, be careful when you give me stuff, because poor St. Francis, his little hand fell off. All right. This is also from a family in Monmouth. They've moved away now, but the McEwens. And this is, if you can't tell, this was before I had a beard, but this is me. This is a little peg doll of me. So they had little peg dolls of saints. What was fun was the kids would quiz me if I knew which saint the peg doll was, and they blew me out of the water all the time. So, and then this beautiful quote, again from Scripture, "I have set my watchmen to guard you," which is a great reminder. And look, I think I'm carrying either my breviary or a box of Kleenex. Both would be appropriate. There's a funny story behind this. this is a picture of Saint Anthony. And Saint Anthony and I, we have a good relationship, by which I mean I kind of razz him a lot. If he can't find something for me, I will kind of make fun of him. I'll be like, what are you doing? Are you lazy? Do you want me to talk to another saint? Saint Anthony one time this is a literal story that I might tell more of later. He sent a man to break into my car to help me find something that I really needed. The funny thing about this is I bought this when I was in Mexico. I had in 2006, just a really beautiful visit to Mexico that changed my life. And that's where I went to see the Tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe. But I was in a church and I was buying this picture of St. Anthony. And, he's the one who helps us find things that are lost. And I think it was in that church that my phone was stolen. So St. Anthony, he struck again. Don't get into fights with people in heaven because they are more powerful than you. I never found my phone. Of course, yeah, in heaven, he will tell me where it is. It'll be hilarious. This is from my friends in Monmouth, the Hispanic community in Monmouth. This is called a rameite espiritual, which is a spiritual bouquet. And look how beautiful this is done. You would think this was printed off on a computer. Wrong. This was actually done in calligraphy by someone. And this is what it says. It says, La Comunidad Hispana de Monmouth le encomienda y ofrece. So the community, Hispanic community in Monmouth, gives to you and offers 120 masses, 353 Padre Nuestros, 20 sacrificios. I don't know what kind of sacrificios, but hopefully not like goats or rams or whatever, but I don't think so. They do like to eat goats though, which is great. 222 rosarios, 289 Ave Marias, so Hail Marys, and then 781 horas de trabajo. So they are very hardworking. Some of the hardest working people I knew were those people there in that community in Monmouth. And so I know those are very valuable. Por la entrega en su ministerio con gran generosidad y bondad de corazón, por su amor nosotros con aprecio y te da gracias. Entonces estoy muy agradecido y tengo muchas buenas memorias de esta comunidad y muchas gracias a ustedes y ojalá que sigan rezando para mí. Actually, I'm going to wait. This one is going to be the last one. This is another thing. And so you'll notice a theme. I've only been I was in 3 parishes. I keep saying Monmouth, but in reality it was Monmouth, Raritan, and Alexis. And that was for 3 years. And I absolutely loved my time there. It has indelible memories in me. So one thing I'll show you here, and it's too big maybe to fit on screen. Maybe there we go. I can't see you, but you can see me. There we go. This is a tree. You'll notice, and this is really cool. This shows all of our connections. There's a theme here, if you can't tell in this video. All of my connections to different people. So different people signed it. They made little leaves, as you can see. And so I get to see all the names of these people, and I look at it. It's in my hallway. I get to look at it every day. And so maybe here some random names. Leroy Tappy, B. Gavin, one of the best cooks. She and Helen Gillen would... they would head up a group of ladies that would bake a whole bunch of cookies. We'd have, 400 freshmen at Monmouth College. Every year they do their walk down Broadway at the beginning of the year. And we'd have lemonade and cookies, and we'd tell them what time the masses were and info about our Newman Center. Rick Mejia, super smart guy. Alondra, I remember her really well. Daughter of Miguel, who has one of the best Mexican restaurants ever. There's a ton. There's a lot of really good Mexican restaurants that I've gotten to eat at. And who else? Chris Ayers. She was is the sacristan there. Again, one of the hardest working people that I've known. Carolyn Knoll. She takes communion to the sick. Anyway, I'm sorry. There's a ton of people in there. So I didn't say everybody. And that's the danger of saying particular people's names, is you leave people out. So I really apologize. Before I get to that last thing, what I want to point out behind me, okay, there we go, perspective. That is an image of Christ Pantocrator. So that's another gift we got from the bishop when I was a seminarian. And if you notice, so this is an icon. This is a Greek icon. And if you notice in the book, right? So Christ Pantocrator. Here, actually, I'm going to get off the wall to show you. just a reminder that I am, working 100% of the time as a priest. And so just to remind you of that. So Christ Pantocrator, he has his the book closed, and his eyes, if you notice, whoa, weird, what's going on with his eyes? Well, guess what? That eye is looking out. Oh, what's the theme here? Horizontal and vertical. It's looking out at you, and this eye is looking up at God the Father. He is the one, Jesus is the one who brings perfect communion to man and between man and God. And what's the deal with the book being closed? Well, that's the book of life. So the question is, depending on everything that we do, is your name written in that book of life? Because at the moment of our death, which is the particular judgment, that book is going to be, the page is going to be turned that has our name on it. And the moment of Jesus coming again, which is the general judgment, that book is going to be closed. If your name is in that book of life, based on our faith, our love, our relationship with Jesus, our going to confession, our striving to grow in spiritual perfection, if our name is in that book of life, awesome. If it's not, better get it in there before the book closes. Finally, this. You might say, well, what's the deal? Why is it peeling up there? The reason is I have had this for more than 20 years. This is a picture, of course, of Jesus, the Sacred Heart. You'll notice I have lots of devotions. I have a devotion to Jesus and the Sacred Heart. The story behind this is my grandma, who died when I think I was probably 11. She loved to go to yard sales, and when we would go visit her, I remember us walking by, and she loved collecting things. So when she had to move out of her house, there was tons of stuff we had to. She lived through the Depression, so I can't blame her. But when I went to a yard sale with her one time, this picture was there. And I said, Grandma, can I have that picture? And of course, if you're a Catholic grandma and your grandson asks for a picture of the Sacred Heart, you're going to give it to him. And so she bought this for me. And everywhere I've gone, wherever I've been, whether it's in seminary, whether it's different parishes, now here at St. Mary's, I keep this hanging above my bed. And when I have this, I kneel down and I look at Jesus every morning and I say, Jesus, I trust in you. And so that's how I think every single one of us, I think, can spend these next several days. They're going to be hard. It's going to be hard living with each other. That's a fact. It's not against anybody. We're all sinful human beings. They're going to be difficult. It's going to be hard to keep up our spiritual practices. We're going to get bored. We're going to get distracted. But every day we need to look at Jesus, look at his Sacred Heart, which was opened for us and wounded for us. And we need to say, Jesus, I trust in you. So say that with me 3 times. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Jesus, I trust in you. Thanks, guys. God bless.